kathysright.com and welcome. Please make sure you subscribe today. Well, do you know how Trump supporters or just anybody with any common sense, do you know how they refer to us? I mean, by they, I mean CNN, NBC, etc. And they keep referring to us as though we were ravenous animals. For instance, they will say things like, well, Trump is just throwing red meat to his base. Like his base are just like these ravenous animals. And I'm wondering, with that kind of thinking, do they mean that Joe Biden's the top of the food chain? Because if he is, that's disturbing.
Just since the outbreak, it's taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. When you think about it, more lives this year than any other year for the past 100 years.
Out of 17 candidates, I don't know how many it was, 17, I think, but there were a ton of candidates running for the Democrat nomination. And guess who won? This is the pick of the litter. This is the best they could do. This is the best the Democrats could come up with. So if that doesn't disturb you, if that doesn't get you to the voting booth, I don't know what will.
Well, Joe Biden will be that president. He's got a national strategy. He's more than ready to lead. Every month since March, as this pandemic has unfolded, Joe Biden has updated the steps he would take to save American lives. And he's done it based on what every scientist, every expert, every economist said we should be doing.
Every economist? Every scientist? No, only certain scientists and certain economists, because there are many scientists who disagreed with Fauci and Birx. You are never going to find 100% of all doctors that agree on anything. As a lawyer and prosecutor, Kamala Harris should know that. One of my very favorite hobbies is to go on one of my liberal old friends' timelines. I don't speak to them because I'm not that kind of a troll, but I do spy on them. And this movement called Riding with Biden, and there's several groups, there's many of them, and they're all over the internet. And these people sound like they're excited about Joe Biden. I think they're all led by probably the same person. I don't think they're real groups. But Riding with Biden, I hope he's not driving. I think I told that joke before. But if he's driving, I mean, he cannot drive a car. I would not get in a car if Joe Biden were driving. Would you? So if you want to have a really good laugh, check out Riding with Biden on Facebook and Twitter. They're hilarious and delusional, but very funny. It's very funny to read what they say. Nancy Pelosi got busted. She got busted going to the beauty salon in San Francisco. Yeah, while all other beauty salons in the state of California are forced to stay closed. Isn't that absurd? But Nancy gets busted because she wasn't wearing a mask. Of course, everybody else in there, I guess the two people who were serving Her Highness, they were wearing a mask because they're the people. You see, the people have to follow the rules. The elite have to follow the law. But the rules are for us peasants. So she got busted, and now she says that she was set up. Stop gaslighting us, Democrats. We're not that stupid. Apparently, you've given us way too much credit for stupidity, and you're counting on our ignorance, and so you're not going to get what you want come this election. You're not going to get it. We, the moral majority, we conservatives, we constitutional conservatives, we are done. We are done with you. And people are leaving the Democratic Party in droves. A lot of them aren't ready for Trump yet, but they are done with the Democratic Party. Amen. Antifa supporter Michael Forrest Rhino was killed Thursday night when federal authorities attempted to arrest him in connection with the fatal shooting of a conservative activist in Portland. This is getting out of hand. I completely think that people are nuts. I just saw a video online where Michael Rhino was talking about how he felt he had no other choice but to shoot a man on a truck with a flag. So to me, that's a little bit suspect, but also he didn't seem to be in the right mind. Something was obviously off about this guy, and I think most people know when they see what I mean about off. And I'll wonder how many of those people out there on the streets claiming to protest when really they're just destroying and looting and all that other stuff. But how many of them are depressed or suffer from some other form of anxiety disorder? Because it's very prevalent from what I can see. 12.7% of the U.S. population over the age of 12 took antidepressant medication within the last month, according to the CDC. That's 1 out of 10, a little over 1 out of 10 people. So we've got to ask ourselves, is this a result, seriously, of rampant racism? Or are we just all going really crazy a little bit? And also, when did it become vogue to bring ammunition to a protest? I'm all over. I'm totally into the Second Amendment rights because I'm a big Second Amendment believer. But when did it become a thing to bring a gun to a protest? As all gun owners know, you don't bring a gun unless you mean to use it. These are not protests anymore. These are acts of war. Make no mistake, these are people, or as our president called, the stupid rich people who are financing this, who are funding this chaos. And as much as they want a race war, it has morphed not necessarily organically, but definitely for sure into a class war to eliminate the middle class. And I'll say that again and again, because that's what I see. They are attempting to bring their nonsense now into the suburbs, which concerns me. And they are being told what to do by their financiers. They're not bright enough to think up all this coordination themselves, the people you actually see on the streets, the hoodlums. So they're being told what to do, I believe. And they don't appear to be, they're the most malleable people, these people that you see. Their minds have been formed since a very young age by leftist institutions, those same leftist institutions who we entrusted our children to. If you look at their books, if you look at their textbooks and the books that they read in college, I've read too many stories, seen too many examples of the first thing that a college student experiences when they go to college of young people being told that there is no God. And they are challenged by their professors in classrooms across this country. This is our enemy. If you can name for me a place that God is not welcome there, and when God is not welcome, there you have the enemy. And by that I mean the devil. I'm not going to mince words. I'm not going to make it comfortable. That's not my job. Make no mistake, it also goes to elementary schools. In Murfreesboro, Tennessee, it's a central school district. It had a lot of concerns. The school asked parents to sign a paper saying that they will not be in the room or monitor what the school sends to them via the internet. And the parents all got a copy of this form. This is what they say, the school district, quote, RCS strives to present these opportunities in a secure format that protects student privacy to the greatest extent possible. However, because these meetings will occur virtually, RCS is limited in its ability to fully control certain factors, such as non-student observers that may be present in the home of a student participating in the virtual meeting. So in this school district in Tennessee, the parents are made to sign a paper, a form, to say that they won't observe. They go on to say, we are aware of the concern that has been raised about this distant learning letter that was sent to parents. The intent was not to prevent parents from being involved with their children during distance learning, but it was intended to protect the academic privacy of other students in the classroom who are visible during certain virtual class sessions. So then it says that if violation of this agreement may result in RCS removing my child from the virtual meeting. So they strongly discourage non-student observation of online meetings due to potential confidential information about. This is crazy. So what are they hiding? Why can't you be in the same room and watch what your child is learning? It is the overly powerful teachers' union across the nation, which are diabolically Democrat run. And they are interested in now, the new things that they're talking about in the Democrat side of the aisle is they want to start your kid in public school from preschool all the way through till 12th grade, their senior year. So they have 8 hours a day to indoctrinate your child with leftist propaganda. I guarantee you, if you read the books, you'll find out from the age of maybe 3 years old and upwards until they're adults. They have your child for 8 hours a day, sometimes more, especially with after-school care. Now they have preschool care and after-school care. So your child is under the tutorage of adults who have formed minds of Marxism and leftism and communism, and they're telling your child what they should think, how they should live, and what's appropriate. And they also want to throw in extra sex education. So now we'll have the government raising our children. Do you trust the government that much? I don't. I really don't. Maybe we can use this pandemic for the betterment of our next generation. Maybe people will get a grip on and learn about homeschooling. There are so many ways to homeschool. You don't have to do it alone. But because of the COVID and the corona and the Chinese flu, all of which are supposed to be the same thing, because of that, we are isolated from one another. And that is a dangerous way to be because we need to be informed. We need to know what's going on. But when I did homeschooling for a short while and I did enjoy it, it was very hard, but I did enjoy it. And so did my kids. But when I did it for a short while, what I found was there were subjects that I wasn't good at. I'm not good at math. When you get to the level of 4th grade math, I'm out. I'm done. But I had a neighbor who was excellent in math, and she taught my children math. I taught her children French. That's how it works. You work with one another. You learn to work with your neighbors instead of texting your government like they did de Blasio and tattling on your neighbors. You learn to work with your neighbors. That sounds like a better deal for children today rather than handing them over to leftist teachers with leftist textbooks teaching leftist ideals. And we have all these leftist kids out on the streets acting all crazy and destroying everything. This is nuts. But there's a better way. There's a whole bunch of better ways. There's not a one-size-fits all in education. Children learn differently. There are a lot of people who need extra help. Some people don't need as much help. They all learn in a different way. Some people learn visually. Some people learn mechanically. But children all learn. And that's the most important thing. So instead of defunding the police, instead of reimagining the police, let's reimagine our education. Let's reimagine our ways of learning and teaching our children. Let's reimagine school choice. How about that? Because there are a lot of answers. There's not just one. The real fix for the problems that we are seeing today, we need to fix it from the beginning, from when they're children, from their education. If we can correct this problem from the beginning, then we don't have to fix it at the tail end of the deal, in jails and such. Once they get to be 17 and 18 years old and they think they know everything, it's kind of late. Of course, in many lives, things don't always work out the way you planned it. I didn't plan for my first husband to die. I was widowed, very young. So you never know what life's going to hand you. But at least go for the gold. Go for the best situation for your children. I don't know if anybody's listening to me that is of childbearing age. Probably not. But just call me crazy. I just thought my kids deserve that. I think all kids deserve that. We try. With the help of God, everything will work out. But meanwhile, let's just keep up our prayer life. Let's stay focused on Jesus because Satan is really, really active right now. We got to stay focused on Jesus. I love it. Whenever I talk to someone and when they say that phrase, I don't mean to be the devil's advocate, but then they're going to either correct you or not in a good way, but criticize you or criticize your idea. Don't you think the devil has enough advocates? He doesn't need anybody else. He doesn't need your help. So when they say that to me, I'm like, no, stop it right there. He's already got enough advocates. Thank you very much. You don't need to be one. So, in the name of Jesus Christ, this is Kathy of kathysright.com. God bless you. I love you. Bye.